All right, let's try to do this one take. Have a bit of limited time, so I'm not gonna do this too long. But let's get into it. Um, so yeah, welcome back. The last video I posted on this channel got some response, which was super surprising. I think we got about 700 views or something and quite a few comments. So that was very surprising, and it seems like people are interested in learning more about what I'm doing and how I'm able to achieve lifestyle design, how I'm able to make 10 to 15K per month in profit and surf and be everywhere in the world where I want to be. Right now I'm in Lombok, Indonesia still. Just had a really nice week of surfing, hanging out with friends, and also getting work done in the mornings. But this week was a bit of a different one because I had a friend visiting me, and I already planned to go a bit slow this week, not work too much, just focus on having fun. We also had some amazing swell this week, so that was super fun. But enough of that. In this video, I want to touch on a little bit more about what I'm exactly doing, because I know some people are interested in knowing that. So I'm running a marketing agency. So I help different e-commerce businesses with Facebook and Google Ads. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. Now, before I started my agency, I was working as the digital marketing manager for a company, also an e-commerce business. So I got a lot of experience from that. That's how I learned a lot. And I probably make another video just talking about that whole experience, because there's a lot to cover. But essentially, that's how I started. After 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years of working there, I ended up starting my own business. So in the beginning, I just had, a really small e-commerce business that I was helping out. Started actually working for them for free, then got some really good results, and they started paying me. And that became a really good case study that I used to get a lot more clients. So when I already had that success story, it was really easy to go and find other similar businesses and just pitch them like, hey, I did this for this e-commerce business, I can probably do the same for you. So we basically quadrupled the revenue in 2 months, and they surpassed any revenue record that I ever had before. Just a few weeks after we launched a campaign for them. So that was, somewhat luck. Definitely was some luck involved in there. But it was really challenging for me to start my business and actually go ahead and, post in Facebook groups and attract my first few clients. But that's how I started. And after that, the ball just got rolling. I got more clients, higher paying clients. And at the moment, I have about 6 clients paying me anything between, 2K to almost, sometimes 4 or 5K per month in USD. So yeah, that's how I run my business. I am a solopreneur, so it's only me. I have no employees. I have an accountant that I pay, and I have freelancers, so contractors from Upwork and Fiverr that I use to outsource some of the fulfillment of my service. So as an example, I have a video editor, helps out with creating content for my clients, so video stuff. I sometimes also do that myself. I have a graphic designer that helps making the ads, design the creative things that we put into the ads. I have a Klaviyo expert that helps setting up email campaigns. I have a Shopify developer that helps implement technical things on my clients' Shopify stores. And I have a Google Tag Manager specialist. So I have different contractors for different kind of tasks and projects. So the reason why I have that is because I don't want to be an expert in every little thing, and I want to, have more time to focus on more leverage stuff. So actually attracting clients and sales and that kind of stuff. So I simply don't want to spend all my time, doing the nitty-gritty stuff that's very easy to outsource to someone in Bangladesh who can do it for way cheaper and it still keeps the same quality. So I'll probably make another video going more into depth of how you can hire contractors and how you can do that properly, because it was a big learning experience for me. Starting out, I had a bunch of mistakes, tried to hire a bunch of contractors that just did shit work, and I just took me some time to really figure out how to do it properly, and I'm still not expert on that topic. But I definitely have learned a lot, and I think that could be valuable for people that are trying to start the same business. So a little bit about why I'm running this business and why I like it so much, because I really think this is one of the best businesses you can start off with. And by that I mean selling a high ticket service with a really high margin. So my service is 80-90% margin on it. So all the money I make is almost profit. And I can do it from anywhere in the world digitally. And it's also a very highly leveraged service because I'm running paid ads. So if we spend a few hours and use our expertise to create a really amazing ad that's getting really good performance and really good results, then just 2 or 1 hour of our work can result in huge value creation. That means we can have one ad working way better than all the other ads the client have ever run before, and it can get all the budget, and we can increase the profit a lot if the click-through rate or whatever the return on ad spend gets a lot better for that ad. So you see, just a few hours of really experienced and highly thought out effort can result in huge value creation. So that is why it's a service that's really leveraged, because I don't need to put in 10 hours to get 10 hours worth of value out of it. I can just put in 1 hour, 2 hour, and because I have skills in this and I have a lot of experience, it usually turns out to more results than in terms of time that I put into it. So that's why I really enjoy the service. It's also a service, as I said, you can do it from anywhere. It provides you with freedom, it's highly leveraged, and it's a skill that is always going to be in demand. So if you want to start a business, starting a service, high margin service-based online business, that is where I would definitely start, because you have to learn so many skills, working with clients, providing the service, communication, which is huge. In any business you want to start, almost you need to be a good communicator, and maintaining client relationships, doing the sales, working with contractors, leading projects. You're going to gain a lot of experience and skills from it. I definitely have, and I think anyone who started a successful agency, they know that you'll have to learn a lot of skills that can be applied to so many other businesses further on if you want to go and branch out to something else or transition to a different business model. The agency model is difficult, it's hard to get it to work, and it does have limitations. And the only thing that isn't the best about it, in my opinion, is that it's very hard to scale beyond a certain point. So right now I'm at the 10 to 15K per month mark, and I have 6 active clients. Now, for me, if I'm taking on more clients right now without hiring anyone and giving up more of my margin, it will be very difficult to fulfill without spending a lot more time on my business. And obviously, my lifestyle design is about not just spending all your time on your business, it's also about spending time on your passions and doing what you really love and enjoy. So that's why I've been for a very long time hesitant to actually scale further, because it is such a challenge to get past this point. Because right now I have, everything that's going on for each of all of my clients, I can keep the track in my head, And I obviously have systems in place to, have logs of all the meetings and everything we talk about and all the projects going on, so nothing gets left behind. But as soon as, I have 7 or 8 clients, it starts to get really difficult and it becomes more of a headache. So not just optimizing for revenue, but just optimizing for actually the life you want to live, while of course earning enough money to do what you want to do and also invest in your future. So setting up money to have a good life when you get older, of course, that's very important. So, but beyond that, it is sometimes hard for me to justify why I should scale this business further. But I'm definitely still trying to do it, and I'm getting better at outsourcing stuff. So, my goal is to get to 100K per month on this business as of now. That might change, but I really want to do it because it's a challenge, and I think doing that I will learn a lot more and gain a lot more skills that will be very valuable. So yeah, that's my business. That's how I run it. have all my client communication on Slack, and we have weekly strategy calls where I check in with them. Also do relationship building and maintenance, and make sure that I always stay on top of things in terms of making sure my clients have a good experience. If they have any concerns, we talk about them, and I make sure they also always know what we're doing to optimize the results. So yeah, that's pretty much my business. I'm not going to get too much into detail on it right now, because I have plans of making more videos of people I want to, for you guys, if you want to start something like this, like sharing some more of my learnings and lessons from doing it, because there's been so many lessons and so many mistakes I've made that I think can be very helpful for a lot of people starting out. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Maybe I'll make that video sooner rather than later. I'll definitely make it at one point, but yeah, I really want to make sure I do it properly and go through my journals and stuff and look through all the lessons that I think can be the most beneficial for anyone who wants to start out. So the other things I want to talk about in this video is just a little bit of what I have written in my last newsletter. So if you don't know, I have a newsletter where I send out every week, where I just go over things that I'm thinking about, sharing lessons for solopreneurship and running an online business, philosophy and practical advice on lifestyle design. So optimizing your life for your passions and freedom and not just work. And yeah, stuff that I'm interested in, basically. So if you're interested in subscribing, the link is in the description. But to be honest, at the moment I don't really care how many subscribers I have. It's such a nice thing to just sit down every Sunday and just put my thoughts down on paper and work through my the things that I learn and sharing it. It's a really fun thing to do, regardless if anyone reads it. It's almost like my own journal, but it's public. So for anyone who's interested, you can go and subscribe. But if you're not interested, I'm still going to write that every week, and I'll also share some of it here on this YouTube channel. So what I've touched on in my last newsletter is, as I've already said, some reasons to start a service-based business. And also, no, sorry, I actually didn't write about that in my newsletter. That's for another newsletter. What I did write about is why it's not selfish, in my opinion, to start a lifestyle design business. So what I mean by that is, I don't think it's selfish to start a business where you just optimize for your ideal lifestyle. So that could be not just work, but also the stuff you really want to do. So in my case, that's surfing. I'm trying to get barreled in the next 5 years. At the moment, I'm like intermediate surfer. But that's a very, to some people that might seem like a super selfish goal. It's just for me, it's just for my fun and my pleasure that I want to do that. But at the same time, the reason why I'm able to fuel my passions is because I do provide value to other businesses. And when you just look at social media and you see, all these people with online businesses, blah, 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 you think, oh, narcissistic, selfish, that's not for me. But the thing is, the reason why these people have the ability to, live a pretty flashy lifestyle is because they're providing value to the economy in some way, unless they're scamming someone, or scamming their customers, which is, I'm just not going to talk about that because that's the exception. But if you're scamming, obviously that's not a sustainable long-term business. Everybody who does unethical stuff in the long term, I feel like always going to fail. And you're not going to be happy about yourself unless you're a psychopath. So, yeah, so I don't think it's selfish. And the reason is, when you're starting a business to fuel your lifestyle and be able to, spend money on what you want to spend money on, you also have to actually provide value to other people, other businesses, or other customers. So by the very essence of being able to run a business and be profitable, you are a net positive contributor to society and the economy because you're creating value. On the other side, I think when you're starting out, so this is my first business. This is my only business that I've been running, a service-based business. And, I think it doesn't need to be the only business you start. I think for starting out, it's a great business because you don't take on any risk. You don't have to start off with a lot of capital and invest or have any investors or anything like that. You just, you just learn a skill and you figure out a way to apply that skill to help other people and create value. So There's no risk involved. You're just spending your time that maybe you would otherwise spend on some bullshit like watching Netflix or unnecessary YouTube videos or scrolling on social media or whatever, something that's not really long-term fulfilling. Instead, just spend that time on learning a leverage high-value skill that you can learn how to apply to other businesses or people to create value. And then once you've done that, you will learn so many things. You will have problems because you will have challenges, but you will have to find out how to solve those problems and get through those challenges. And by doing that, you now have knowledge and experience that will for sure be of value to other people. Now, if you want to share that with other people, or if you want to keep it to yourself and just run your business, that's totally up to each and every individual. For me right now, the reason why I'm filming this YouTube video is because I think there's a lot of lessons and learnings I have been through that could be to a lot of value for people who want to start the same thing. Now, I don't feel like making 10 to 15K per month in profit is like anything huge, but that's just because I've been slowly but surely like increasing that over a long time period. If I went back and talked to my younger self when I was starting out and I told him, hey, you'll make 10 to 15K per month in profit and you'll be living in Lombok in Portugal, surfing and having so much time to do exactly what you love, that guy would be stoked. I know that for a fact because I remember I read through my journal and one of my biggest goals were just to make 10K per month. That would be my dream, And now I'm doing that and it doesn't feel like a big deal. And I'm still hesitant. I was still hesitant to share it for a long time. I've been making 10 to 15K for a long time now before I wanted to share it. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. I want to share that value, but I don't want to make money of it in the beginning. I want to just share free value and hopefully instead create a community of like-minded people and entrepreneurs that can get together around the world and network and do masterminds together and just share value and share experience and also socialize, because that's a huge part of running a business like I'm doing. It can get very lonely, and I definitely will touch on this more, but I've had a lot of lone wolf periods, I call them, when you're just by yourself, you're just working on your business and you're barely socializing because you don't really have time for that and you don't prioritize that, and you can get it can get pretty dark if you do that for too long, I've noticed. So I think that's a huge problem that needs to be solved for people who run businesses like this, or even people that work remotely. Having a community of ambitious people that also value other passions outside of work is so important. And just recently I've started to kind of fix that problem for myself or get through that challenge and actually find people. But I think there is ways to do this better and get more people together and build a really, really cool community. So that's my long-term goal. But don't worry, you probably will not see any courses in my links in the description. I'm not going to sell you anything for a long time. But at some point I might try to sell something, but only because I think it's going to be super valuable. So that's what I touched on, why it's not selfish. Another thing that I touched on in my newsletter is one productivity hack that I think is just the number one most important one. You don't need to have all the other stuff that you see on social media and YouTube and blah, 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 how to get into flow and all that kind of stuff. There's so much productivity content out there, it can get overwhelming. The one thing that, for me at least, really have helped me have progress and the most important things in my business has been to just sit down first thing in the morning and pick the one thing, the most important thing to focus on, and just focus on that for 3 to 4 hours before I do any other task. So there's a really good book on this. It's called The One Thing, and it's a really good book. And he touches on this in detail, so I recommend reading it. But in essence, it's just about really understanding that it's a trap that you can easily fall into by just feeling productive, by doing a lot of mini tasks that's not really important, and it will not really move the needle. It's not really going to get you anywhere in the long term. What really is important, in my opinion, is to start your day by focusing on some or the one task that will give you long-term leverage. So as an example, for me, that's YouTube. This YouTube channel is not my other YouTube channel is where I share Facebook ads content and stuff and tips and strategies. I can, show a little screenshot of it. I have about 1,500 subscribers at the moment, I think. And this is what I've been focusing on for the last few years a lot, and because it gives me a lot of leverage. So what I mean by that is I make one video. That video, if it turns out great, which it not always does, but sometimes I have a video that gets a few thousand views. That video over time can create lead flow for me, get me booked calls with potential clients for months in the future. And just one video sometimes can lead to like 4, 5, 6 clients, and these are high-paying clients. So it's a huge leverage activity because I make one really good video, and that can serve me for many months to come. So by doing that task really well, by really spending a lot of focus and effort on making one really well-made video, that can make up for so many other tasks that I no longer have to do. I no longer have to do sales and outreach and go and look for clients because they find me, and that gives me the opportunity to just focus on serving and getting good results for my current clients and not really having to do anything on the sales part because the potential clients come to me and they're interested, so sales are super easy. So that's just one example. Obviously for you, depending on what you're doing or what you want to do, that task could be something else, but just be super mindful of it because the output, the creative output and the cognitive performance is not, it's not the same throughout the day. It's the best first thing in the morning, at least for me. And I think for a lot of people it is, because that's when you have the most energy. Your mind is clear. You don't have a lot of external information coming in already. So starting by creating something for me it's been huge. So making a script, writing a newsletter, or filming the video for my YouTube channels, that's been huge. So be just making sure you're really mindful of where you put your focus first thing in the day, and then once you've done that thing, or you put in the hours on that one thing that is going to be the most important one, then you can go and focus on more admin stuff like accounting, answering clients on Slack and emails and all that kind of stuff. So regarding the progress of all my social channels, I don't have my phone on me right now. This weekend I'm gone on a bit of a getaway to a resort in Lombok, just an hour from where I normally stay. So I've been surfing and staying at a really nice resort here, but right now I don't have my phone on me and I don't have signal anyways. So just kind of like disconnecting a little bit and relaxing and writing and thinking and journaling and stuff like that. But what I'll do when I edit this video, I'll put up all the progress for my YouTube. So the last video on this channel actually got some traction. I'll also link or show the results for the other YouTube channel for my agency. And my LinkedIn, my Twitter. My Twitter is not really growing, but I'll add it in anyway. And my Instagram. These are just fun to, measure, because as soon as you start measuring any metric, it's the first thing you can do to naturally make them grow because you're focused on them. And also the amount of booked calls, I think I'll have to link that as well. I don't remember how many calls it was last week. I think it was not a lot. Some weeks it's just no booked calls coming in, and then all of a sudden you have a week with 4 or 5 booked calls. So it varies a lot. But yeah, anyways, a lot of rambling here. If you enjoy this type of content, let me know. And if there's anything specific you like to know more about, let me know in the comments as well. But yeah, at the moment you can probably see I'm pretty much winging this. I'm not an expert on creating content like this, and to be honest, it's not super comfortable to do. But I really, long term, I really want to be able to help some people, share some free value and help some people, get out there and experience life. Because starting an online business is not just about money; it's also about, being able to get off your couch, get off the YouTube binging, whatever you're, doing at the moment. I've been through periods in my life where I wasn't really satisfied at all, and I've gotten through them, and now so far this year, man, life has been really good, and if I can do it, I think anyone can do it. It's just about perspective, mindset, and the know-how, which you can get online, and I want to be part of that for someone, and hopefully share my lessons and learnings to be able to help someone, do something with their life and do something great. So yeah, anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.